All right, today we're going to talk about white noise, that thing that you think your baby needs, that silly little circle that you put on the car seat when you guys come in our office, or that people gave you, or you swear by. It's what makes your kid go to rest. And we are going to debunk that.
Yeah, so we'll start this conversation with talking about noise versus sound, and how noise is just a whole bunch of sounds put together, but just with no rhythm, no melody. It's just a whole bunch of...
Yeah, so examples of that are like static, it's a fan, it's
vacuum cleaner.
A vacuum cleaner. So these things that are this consistent, unending, same changing thing that if you really think about, if you were in a room with the TV on static,
right,
it's actually not doing good things for you. It irritates you. It's
even like a radio that's not tuned to the right station.
In our house, we have a pretty loud fan in our kids' bathroom. And when they don't shut off the light, I literally want to die.
It's insensate.
Yeah, and so my kids know as soon as they walk out, they need to turn off that because the fan comes on with the light and it drives mommy crazy.
Yeah, and so in a baby, they don't have, because their brain is not fully developed, they don't have the ability to regulate their heart rate, their breathing rate. And so they rely a lot on the outside environment to be able to help them do that. And so in the womb, that was mom. Mom was controlling all that. They heard mom's heartbeat. And so that is their internal rate clock. Even a lot of times with our babies, where do they sleep the best? Attached to mom, on her chest, because her heartbeat helps them regulate their body. And so when we have a baby who's trying to go to sleep and we put this noise maker by their head, then that disrupts their internal rhythm to be able to regulate their heartbeat and to regulate their breathing rate. And so what we want to do, and as best as we can, is try to keep no sounds at all. No external sounds. If you need to do something, an external sound that would be better would be something that happens out in nature. So like beach waves coming in and out, or rain. Dr. Bridget loves sleeping with rain on. There's even a lot of these sound machines will have some sort of heartbeat. The thing that we're learning is that heartbeat sound will help the baby and will guide the baby in their internal rate mechanisms. And so I don't love that because I don't want to disturb the baby's normal mechanisms, so they attune to this sound machine and the heartbeat that this sound machine is making. Because Dr. B said it's like it doesn't change ever, just the same thing over and over and over again at the same rate, the same rhythm. So the baby is going to attune to this thing that is constant and not changing, whereas mom's heartbeat is constantly changing. And so as we're talking about this too, we're talking about how noise and different sounds have effects on our body. If you're listening, and Dr. B is going to give you the music side of this, if you're listening to or watching a movie, like we were talking about Jaws, and you hear that the Jaws sound come on, the Jaws music, and it's just like your heart just like, what is happening? And so sound has a huge impact on us and what our heart is doing, and so it does the same thing to our baby, and so it has a huge impact on your baby, on their development. And so we want to make sure that we're playing no noise. There's no noise that should be around your baby, and at the most that I want to be around your baby is the sound of beach waves or rain or
crickets,
some sort of something like that to block out some. Maybe you have other kids in the house who are playing around. It's going to mess up your kid's sleep schedule. Just like playing something that is not just noise.
And so if you were to go out and sleep in nature, and we go back to our hunter-gatherer days, and they're sleeping outside, so they're in a completely nature environment, what are they hearing? They're hearing wind rustling through the trees, they're going to hear crickets, they're going to hear sticks snapping and things like that. So all sorts of different changing things. The heartbeat, for example, if you're holding baby and you guys are laying down together, or you're sitting watching TV and baby has fallen asleep on you, and you get up, your heart rate's going to change. So baby subconsciously is feeling that everything's moving, and they hear your heart rate change. They're like, oh, we must be moving. That's okay. I'm okay. I can stay asleep because their heartbeat is telling me that's what's happening. And so there's a feedback mechanism that comes with sound. So a lot of the inexpensive sound machines don't have more than 30 or 60-second loops of sound. So even if they have ocean waves or they have rain, that's not a long-term sound. The higher up in sound machines you can get, there's 30-minute loops, and that's much better. our whole REM cycle it's a 45-minute cycle, right? And so we want to have a sound that pretty much lasts that entire time before we would restart that sound again. So like you said, I really love falling asleep to thunderstorms. Most of the tracks on this thunderstorm playlist that I have on our Amazon Music is 1 to 4 minute tracks, so it's still not great. But all of them are different, and they're actually recordings of rain happening. So you want to find sounds that make sense. Now, when we were talking about music, music is a huge key when you're starting to have a sleep routine, when you're starting to have signals. You can have wake up songs, you can have snack songs, you can have nap time songs, and you can have sleeping time songs. Those songs are generally in a major chord, they're in a happy type of thing. It's like when you hear minor chords in a scary movie, you know that something bad is about to happen. Or we use minor chords when we're sad. And so there are different ways that music has forever changed how we feel and are in a situation. And so understanding that those sounds that you're giving to your baby are going to be indicators, and that you could start every night with the same song that you either sing to your baby or play for your baby, but then it needs to end. So having a fan in their room, having this thing that's a consistent tick, 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 that's not going to let their nervous system adapt to the ebbs and flows of sleep, which is really where that's what people use sound machines for.
Yeah, and there was even a study that talked about noise in school-age children. This was done in Germany, where they were moving the airport, and so they tracked kids. They were 9 through 11, so in elementary school, and they tracked their blood pressure. They tracked norepinephrine and epinephrine levels, which are stress hormones, and they tracked it 6 months before the airport moved over their neighborhood, and then they tracked when it moved over, and then 6 months after, and the blood pressure, epinephrine, and norepinephrine levels were all elevated in the school-age kids when the airport was moved over their house. And so that's noise that's flying over their house, and so while we're sleeping, the blood pressure is rising, epinephrine, norepinephrine, so the stress hormones which should be activated when we're in fight or flight are active, they're elevated when these noises are made, so that is literally turning off the sleep mechanism. It's just like, you need to wake up, because if you don't wake up, there's going to be a bear that's going to come eat you. And so the body is saying you need to wake up while you're trying to make your child go to sleep, and so it's going to affect the quality of their sleep because of what it's doing physiologically to them while they're trying to rest.
So you have a lot of homework to do. You want to figure out and look at the science in this. Find, if sleep is what you're really thinking about this noise thing with, which traditionally I think that's what most people are using it for, to help calm their baby or to cover up outside sounds. You want to work with a biological, holistic sleep consultant that understands this stuff. That's who I learned about the sound looping from, and those cheap circles that you can attach to your car seat are not doing it. It's not going to end up being a good thing for you. And so you want to invest in something, or you want to invest in training your child, because everything is training. You're training your child from the moment they start how to pee and poop in a diaper, and then you're going to train them not to pee and poop in a diaper. You're going to train them that this means milk, and that's what they're going to use it. But you're going to train them how that they can go to sleep. And again, the most important thing that they want to sleep is you. Because you are their soother. And self-soothing isn't really a thing. Self-soothing really is them giving up. And so you want to be able to have your baby be able to go to sleep with the consistency of certain things that you can provide for them, and not something a machine can. Good luck.